Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Auntie Tay. If you guys are new here, that's who I am. And if you're not, welcome back. And you are watching a new series called Extreme Takeover Room Edition. And Michael from Mr. Crafty Pants' YouTube channel and MrCraftyPants.com is using his Cricut to make over his bathroom using all different types of vinyl from ShopAuntieTay.com. I am so excited. Make sure to check out his channel and leave a comment telling him how much you love him so that if we want to have him back on my channel, we know that you guys love him, which I already know you're going to love him so much. So take it away.
Hey, I'm Michael from the Mr. Crafty Pants YouTube channel and MrCraftyPants.com, where I show you how to quickly and easily start mastering your Cricut. And this is episode 2 of Extreme Takeover Room Edition, a brand new 5-episode series where I am taking over Auntie Tay's channel and completely transforming this boring, ugly, and depressing bathroom with the help of my Cricut into a space that is fun, decorative, and trendy. Oh, and I'm doing this also on a budget and making it renter friendly at the same time. So if you missed episode 1, you will definitely want to go back and check that out now. A link to that will be down in the description box below. In each episode, I will be transforming a different area of this bathroom with a different type of vinyl. So for episode 1, we transformed a part of the bathroom with Oracal 651 permanent vinyl. And for today's episode, I am so excited because we are using my all-time favorite type of vinyl, HTV, which is short for heat transfer vinyl, but also some people call it iron-on vinyl. To make it even better, we will be using one of my favorite brands of HTV, Caesar, as well as Auntie Tay's brand of pattern HTV, which, spoiler alert, is amazing and so freaking cute. Now, when most people think about HTV, their mind just automatically goes to t-shirts, right? But truth be told, HTV can be applied to so much more than that, and I am going to show you how. So for today's projects, we are creating everything from very trendy but extremely affordable wall art, all the way to a wooden dish that would be absolutely perfect for displaying decorative bars of soap or even a candle. Now, as the series progresses, the projects are just going to keep getting bigger and better. So if you are new around here, make sure that you stamp that subscribe button to subscribe to Auntie Tay's channel and ring that bell for all the notifications so that you don't have to miss a single episode in this series, or for that matter, any of Auntie Tay's videos, because they are all truly amazing. And while you're at it, if you'd like to see even more extreme Cricut makeovers, then head over to my channel and subscribe by just simply searching for Mr. Crafty Pants Cricut Tutorials here on YouTube, or by clicking that link down in that description box below. And now, without further ado, let's head upstairs to the craft loft and let's get crafty. I am so excited to get started today because y'all, we are kicking this off with the Auntie Tay patterned HTV sheets, which I am obsessed with. Just putting that out there, letting you all know I am obsessed with these designs. I mean, who wouldn't be? For one, we had this cheetah print right here, which I mean, is epic, it's iconic, it's everything you could ever want and more. We had this black with white polka dots called All Dolled Up. We had these large geometric triangles. I am obsessed with these large stripes, like truly obsessed with these. And we had these small geometric triangles, which is a smaller pattern of what we saw before. I love them all. I mean, I picked all these out, so I should love them, right? But there are so many more than what's just listed here, than what I've just shown you. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So if you have not checked out her pattern HTV collection, you need to go do that as soon as this video is over. Also, don't forget that you can use my code, which is crafty, and that'll save you 10% off on your entire order. So what I'm doing first is grabbing my computer and we're gonna head over to AuntieTay.com to look at the SVGs. Okay, so here we are on AuntieTay.com, and what I want to do is pop over to this tab right here that says SVGs and cut files. And so I'm gonna scroll down just a little bit and click on Disney right over here. I want to click on classic characters, and then I'm going to scroll down here towards the bottom, And I want to click on this Tarzan bundle right here. One of the things I really love about her membership site is that most of these bundles will literally download with just a click of the button. Not all of them, but a lot of them will. And that's just super simple, super easy, and super quick. What's not to love? So I'm going to come down here and click this little download right here to unzip that folder. There we go. So that went ahead and unzipped it for us. And now what I'm going to do is head over to Cricut Design Space. I'm going to get that launched up and ready. I'm going to come over here towards the left hand side of the canvas and click on Upload. And I want to click on Upload Image. I'm going to click on Browse right here. And I want to click on this Tarzan folder right here. Now this file right here, the one with all the different types of leaves, this is what I'm wanting to use for today's project. I'm not doing my bathroom in a Tarzan theme, but this type of leaf will definitely come in handy today. Just watch and see. I'm gonna click on Open. I'm gonna click on Save down here at the bottom right hand corner. And here it is right here in our recently uploaded images. I want to select that, and you can always tell that it is selected by this green box that appears around it once you click on it. And then I want to come down here towards the bottom right hand corner and select Insert Images. There we go. Now if you look over here to the right of the screen, what you'll see is the Layers panel. And all of these different images are grouped together as one. But let's just say, for example, you only want one of these leaves. Well, here's a really quick and easy solution to that. All you want to do is come up here to the top of the Layers panel and select Ungroup. And then you can come over here to the right of the Layers panel where this little eye icon is. And what you can do is simply click on that to hide whatever leaf that you don't want as part of your project. Now before I get into all of that, what I want to do is just select all of these by clicking and dragging over all of them. Grab this little resize handle down here at the bottom right, shrink it down a little bit and just move it out of the way just for the time being. What I want to do now though is come over here to the left hand side of the page and click on Shapes, because we are going to create templates of our canvases that we're working with today. And to do that, I'm going to open up a square. And since we have two sizes that we're going to be working with today, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that by right clicking it, coming down here and clicking on duplicate, or you could literally just copy and paste it. There we go. Now we are going to change the shape of this first square to 8 by 10 to match the same dimensions as one of our canvases. So to do that, I'm going to come up here towards the top of the canvas where it says size, and I'm going to click to unlock this little padlock, because once that's locked, all the proportions of that image, shape, text, whatever is selected is locked as well. So we want to change that. And so to do that, I'm just going to click that little padlock. And right here for width, I want to change that to 8 inches for the 8 inches wide. Hit enter. And then I'm going to come over here to height. I'm going to select all the numbers in there, delete those out, type in 10, and then hit enter. And there is our 8 by 10 canvas. So since that is the size that we're wanting it to be, I'm going to come back up here towards the top of the canvas, right here where it says size, and I'm going to lock that padlock back by clicking on it. All right, so now I'm going to grab my other square, and I'm also going to do the same thing. I'm going to come up here towards the top of the canvas. I'm going to unlock that padlock so we can change the proportions of this image, or of this shape rather. I'm going to come over here to size where it says width. I'm going to delete out the numbers in there, and I'm going to put it in 5 for 5 inches wide for our 5 by 7 canvases. I'm going to click on enter, and right here for height, I'm going to change that to 7. Okay, so now since that is the shape that we're wanting, I'm going to come back up here and relock those proportions by clicking that padlock once again. We do have 2 of those 5 by 7 canvases. So what I want to do is just right click this rectangle right here and come down here and click duplicate. Again, you could always just copy and paste it. Okay, so let's get started with this 8 by 10 canvas right here. Okay, so what I want to do is come over here and grab one of these branches, just like so, and then just drag it right over here on top of our canvas, or at least a digital representation of our canvas. I can grab this little rotation handle up here at the top right hand corner of our image. I can move it any way I'd like. I can come up here towards the top of the canvas right here and select flip, and flip horizontally. I can come down here towards the bottom right hand corner of our image to the resize handle, make it larger, smaller, really whatever I'd like. And I do want part of this branch to actually be falling off the corner or the edge of the canvas, so I'm gonna make it even just a little bit bigger. Okay, so something just like that should work out perfectly. I'm going to click and drag over this rectangle and over this branch to select them both. And then I'm going to come down here towards the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and I am going to select slice. Okay, so I can actually move our plant out of the way, our branch out of the way. I'm going to delete all that out, and this is what we're going to cut out to go on our 8x10 canvas, which is going to look just so extremely cool in my own personal opinion. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is come up here and get one of these Monstera. I have no idea how to pronounce that, which is kind of embarrassing. But I'm going to grab one of these leaves right here and drag it right down here on top of this part of the canvas. I'm going to grab this little resize handle down here and just make that larger, just like so. I'm going to grab this little rotation handle right up here and just rotate it just a hair. There we go. And let's make this just a little bit bigger. I like that. So we really don't need this as a size template anymore, but instead of deleting it, what I want to do instead is actually move it to where it's about halfway through our plant, just like that. Now what I would like to do is actually click and drag over both the rectangle and this Monstera leaf, palm leaf as well, probably just call it. And what the plan is to come down here towards the bottom right hand corner and select slice. Now what my goal or what my vision is with this is to slice this palm leaf right down the center, or at least pretty close to it, and then use two different types of HTV to create the entire leaf. So I'm just gonna come down here and click slice, which should slice that right in half. There we go. Perfect. So that's just the remnants of what we sliced through. Here is our former template. I can delete that. And now here is both sides of our leaf that we will cut out with two different colors of HTV, or two different patterns of HTV. Now, just to signify that this will be cut out differently, what I'm going to do is come up here towards the top left-hand corner of the screen, click on this little color swatch right here, and let's just change that color to a dark green. Now for this third mini canvas, I actually think I want the orientation of it to be going landscape instead of portrait. So I'm just gonna grab this little rotation handle right here and rotate it just like so. And I'm gonna grab this leaf right here, I believe, and drag it right down here on top of that. I'm gonna rotate that to the side as well, kind of like it's just laying on the ground. I'm gonna grab this little resize handle, make this much larger. And I personally like it just like that. So I'm actually going to click and drag over the rectangle and over the leaf, come down here towards the bottom right hand corner again and slice through them. This time I'm actually going to leave the leaf that we sliced as part of our project. So this is what we're using for the project right here. Now as far as all these other leaves go, just for the time being, not permanently, I'm going to click and drag over all these leaves and then just delete those out. Now for our 8x10 canvas, the one that we're using this image for right here, we need to figure out what type of pattern HTV we're going to be using. And I really have my heart and mind set on this large stripe pattern right here. I love this, and the idea of this being on that 8x10 canvas with the plant sliced out of it, I'm obsessed with. I just really think that's going to look really cool. Now, as far as this leaf goes, that's cut in half, what I want to do is cut out this black half in this all dolled up pattern HTV that you can get at shopauntie.com. And for the other side, I'm going to cut this out in this green Caesar HTV that you can also get at shopauntie.com. Now for this last palm leaf right here. Now we definitely need to change the color so it doesn't try to cut it out with this mat right here. And so let's go ahead and just change the color of it to, we can change it to white. How about that? That way we know that this goes on to the white mat. Now I'm gonna come up here towards the top right hand corner of the screen and click on Make It. Now, as in most cases with HTV, you almost always want the shiny side to go face down onto the mat. And this is no exception, except for this just makes it a little bit more blatantly clear. You want the side with a pattern to go face down onto the mat, and the side with no pattern to be facing up towards you. Now, as far as the material goes, Auntie Tay says to use the same cut settings and heat settings as you would with Caesar EasyWeed. And with Caesar EasyWeed, I always use the same cut settings as the everyday iron-on vinyl, and it's never failed me yet. So that's what I want to do for this today. Alright, so we are going to take this 8x10 design right here. I'm going to apply it to this burlap sheet right here that's 12 inches by 12 inches, I believe. And then I'm going to just trim off the excess once we're done. Now before I apply it though, I do want to go over this real quick for about 5 seconds or so just to preheat it. That should be good. And now I'm going to apply our design. And now we're going to apply our easy press for the full 15 seconds. And you are supposed to hold medium pressure to it. And once it cools down from hot to warm, I'm going to go ahead and remove that transfer sheet. Alright, so here is what that pattern HTV looks like once it's been applied to the burlap. Now here, after a little while, what I'll do is go around and trim off all the excess, and then we'll finish out the project then. Okay, so now I'm going to apply this piece of pattern HTV to the smaller 5x7 canvas right here. Now before I apply that though, I am going to preheat the canvas for about 5 seconds or so. And now I'm going to apply the pattern HTV. There we go. Now I'm going to apply the easy press for the full 15 seconds at 305 degrees. Alright, so while that's cooling off, I'm just grabbing our other 5x7 canvas and going to do the same thing with our other design. I'm going to first preheat it for about 5 seconds or so. I'm going to apply the first half of this design and go over it for about 5 seconds. Once this has a chance to cool down a little bit, I'm going to very carefully peel off the transfer sheet, then apply our second layer of vinyl, cover it with like a Teflon sheet or even parchment paper, and then press it for the full 15 seconds. The reason we want to do that is that if you pressed both halves for a full 15 seconds, you really run the risk of scorching one of those halves. Alright, so now I'm going to apply my second layer, which is the pattern HTV. Alright, so there we go. So now I'm going to cover this with a Teflon sheet and then press for the full 15 seconds. Alright, so I'm going to let that cool down for a little bit and we can go ahead and remove the transfer tape on this decal right here. Okay, so now I'm just going to trim off the excess of this burlap. So now I'm grabbing an 8x10 picture frame from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put this piece of burlap inside of it. Alright, so next up, we are turning these 16-inch by 20-inch canvases into reverse canvas wall art. Alright, so what I'm doing first is turning this canvas over, grabbing my X-Acto knife, and I'm going to slice around the outer edges of all these staples to loosen this canvas from the frame. What I'm going to do now is go around the canvas and just pull off all of this remaining leftover canvas that's stapled down. Alright, so here we go. This is our reversed canvas. This is our frame. You flip it around back and it actually looks like a real frame. How much fun is that? I mean, so cool. So what I'm really wanting to do to this is stain it. And the reason I do the air quotes is because it's not really stained. We're actually going to make up an acrylic paint mixture and we're going to go over it with that. It's going to look like stain, but no harsh chemical smell, no taking hours to dry. It's going to dry super fast so we can kind of keep on moving. So I am just grabbing this Apple Barrel matte paint in the shade Brown Oxide. I'm going to pour a little bit into this little cup right here, add in some water, mix it up, and we'll see how it does. So here we go with two completely stained frames. I honestly love how this turned out. I mean, the bottle of paint cost less than 50 cents at Walmart. It dried super quick. There were no fumes whatsoever. So now what we need to do is open up Cricut Design Space and get our designs ready to put on these frames. Okay, so we know our canvas size is 16 inches by 20 inches. So what I want to do is go ahead and make a template for that in Cricut Design Space. And again, to do that, what I'm doing is coming over here to the left-hand side of the canvas. I'm clicking on shapes and opening up a square. I already know from the get-go that my canvas is going to remain white. So to make this just a little bit more realistic, I'm going to come up here towards the top left-hand corner of the canvas, click this little color swatch right here and change that to white. And now I'm going to come back up here towards the top of the canvas again, right here where it says size. I'm going to go ahead and click this padlock to unlock the proportions so we can change the dimensions of this shape. And right here where it says width, I want to change those numbers to 16 for 16 inches. Hit enter, and right here next to height, I want to change that to 20 for 20 inches. Now I'm going to go ahead and lock that little padlock back. And I'm gonna come down here towards the bottom left-hand corner of the screen and zoom out a little bit. Now I already know that the design that I'm wanting to make for this particular canvas is going to consist of a bunch of different palm leaves overlapping each other. So what I'm going to do is come over here to the left-hand side of the page again, click on upload, and I'm going to reinsert this recently uploaded image right here. Now I'm going to come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner and click insert images. There we go. So move this out of the way. And just like earlier, I'm going to come back over here to the right hand side of the page and ungroup all of these leaves just by clicking ungroup here at the top of the layers panel. And what I'm wanting to do is just to come over here, grab one of these branches, and then drag it over here on top of this digital representation of our canvas. I can grab this little resize handle right here at the bottom right hand corner of our branch, can make this larger. And with this little rotation handle up here at the top right hand corner of our image, I can rotate it, really can kind of mess around with it until it's where I want it to be. I'm gonna come back over here and grab this leaf right here, drag this over as well, make this a little bit larger. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. This is just looking like 10 different shades of crazy right now, but I promise you, just stick with me a little bit longer and it's all gonna make a little bit more sense, I promise. So right now what I wanna do is come back over here to the right-hand side of the page, to the layers panel. I wanna scroll down here to where we see our template, which is our white rectangle, which is representing our canvas. And over here to the right of that layer is this little eye icon. I can click on that and that's gonna hide that layer for us. So now since that is hidden, I'm gonna just click and drag over all of these different images that are a part of our canvas anyway. And then I'm gonna come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner of the screen at the very bottom of the layers panel. And I wanna select this weld option right here. And what that weld option does is basically fuses all of those different layers, all those images into one solid image. So now since those are all welded together, I'm gonna come back over here to the right-hand side of the canvas, to the layers panel, and I wanna unhide that white rectangle. I want to unhide that representation of our canvas. So I'm gonna click that eye icon again. And now what I want to do is just simply click and drag over that rectangle and over our now welded image. That way it selects both of them. And now I want to come down here towards the bottom right hand corner and select slice. And that slice option is just acting like a cookie cutter of sorts. Alright, so this right here, I want to move out of the way because this is our actual image. And then all of this right here can be deleted out. All these other extra leaves over here can be deleted out as well. And here is what our finished project is going to look like, which in my opinion looks kind of cool. I know not everybody's going to agree with that, and that's all right. But the beauty of this is that you can create whatever you would like. That's what you have the power to do. If you like something, great, and if you don't, that's great too. It's all up to you and whatever you want to create. All right, so if we'll look over here to the right-hand side of the canvas again, we're gonna see this little orange triangle, which is like an error message of sorts. If you click on that, it's going to tell you that it's not supported by the maker, that the image is too large and that you have to reduce the image size to 11.5 inches by 23.5 inches or less. Now here's the thing, that is the maximum cut size. That 11.5 inches by 23.5 inches is the maximum cut size if you have the 12 inch by 24 inch cutting mat, which is this cutting mat right here. Now here's the thing, if you have this cutting mat, great, you can use the same principles that I'm about to show you and cut it out on this mat right here. But I know that most people don't have this cutting mat at home just laying around. So what I'm going to do is show you all how to do this on your 12 inch by 12 inch cutting mat that most everybody has. If we are cutting out our image on this mat right here, the 12 inch by 12 inch cutting mat, the maximum cut size for this size of a mat is 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches. So basically what we're going to have to do is split up this large image, this 16 inch by 20 inch image, into 4 different squares that are each going to fit onto one of these cutting mats, right? Now since the maximum cutting size for that mat is 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches, what we're going to have to do is create somewhat of a template for that size of a cutting mat that we can use to slice out different portions of this larger image so that we can cut out this larger image into different squares or different portions, basically piece by piece. So I'm going to come over here to the left hand side of the canvas and click on shapes. open up a square, and then I want to come up here towards the top of the canvas where it says size, and I want to change that width to 11.5 for 11.5 inches. Now, since this padlock is locked, that means that it's keeping our proportions locked as well. It's keeping those proportions intact. So I changed the width to 11.5 inches, and it automatically changed the height to 11.5 inches for us as well. So what I want to do is actually create 4 of these squares, and I'm going to do that just by right-clicking it, and I can come down here and click duplicate, or I can simply just copy and paste. Basically, what I'm wanting to do is just to line up all these squares just like so, but I want them to be as seamless as possible. So I'm going to come down here towards the bottom left-hand corner of the screen and just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so there's a small little crack there. I'm going to scoot that just a little bit closer. Okay, I can see that this bottom right-hand corner of a square, I can just scoot that over and make that a little bit more seamless. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I can scoot this over as well. Alright, so that looks pretty good, right? So now what I want to do is come over here and select our image that's now kind of buried behind all those squares. I want to right-click that and then just scroll down here and click on Send to Front. Alright, so as you can see right here, smack dab in the middle of our design is this little white cross or like a white plus sign. What I'm wanting to do is to line that up smack dab right where all 4 of these squares meet right here. Basically, I want my design to be smack dab in the middle of all 4 of those squares. And so now what I'm wanting to do is just to click and drag over one of the squares as well as our design. So I'm going to start up here at the top left-hand corner of a square. I'm going to click and drag over that square and our design, just like so. And I'm going to come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner and select Slice. I can go ahead and move that part of the square out of the way. Now I'm going to come over here to the square at the top right-hand corner. I'm going to select that as well as our design, and then come back down here to the bottom right-hand corner and select Slice. All right, I can go ahead and delete that square out now too. And now let's come down here towards the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to select Slice again. I can go ahead and delete out that square. And now let's do the bottom right-hand corner. Same thing with Slice, and I can go ahead and delete out that square as well. So now, as you'll see, I can go ahead and click and drag and move out our design into 4 different sections, just like so. And what's left behind right here is just simply the remnants of those squares that were sliced through. Remember, Slice is more or less kind of like a cookie cutter. So I can go ahead and just click and drag over all of those and delete those out. So now here is all 4 sections of our one design. So now we can cut out that entire large design piece by piece, essentially, with our 12-inch by 12-inch cutting mat. And once they're all cut out, weeded out, we can then adhere them to our canvas and have one solid design once again. Kind of cool, right? So what I'm wanting to do is to come up here towards the top right-hand corner, select Make It. Since this is heat transfer vinyl, what I'm wanting to do, as always, is to come over here and select Mirror. Not just for that first mat, but I also want to select that second mat, mirror that one as well. Same for the third, and same for the fourth. And then come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner and select Continue. Since we are cutting this out onto Caesar Easy Weed HTV, that again you can get at shop.auntie.com. If you'd like to order some, be sure that you use my code, which is crafty, and that'll save you 10% off on your entire order. But as far as the Caesar Easy Weed goes, I always like to use the Cricut Everyday Iron on Vinyl setting right here. Just for me, that always seems to work out the best. All right, so since that is set to cut, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get our mats all set up and ready with our vinyl. Okay, so as always with heat transfer vinyl, aka HTV or iron on vinyl, the shiny side always wants to go face down onto the cutting mat. The shiny side is the side that has the transfer tape on it. So obviously you do not want to cut through your transfer tape. Instead, you want to actually cut through your vinyl, which is more like this duller side right here. Shiny side facing down on the mat, this more dull side facing up towards you. So I'm going to flip this back around, shiny side facing down. Alright, so we have all the pieces of our HTV all weeded out. So I'm going to set this temperature to 305 and set the timer to 10 seconds.
A few moments later.
Alright, so our Easy Press is all heated up. So what I'm doing right now is just grabbing our Easy Press mat, placing that underneath of our canvas right here. And let's start out with the top left-hand corner. Why not? Alright, so this part is very important. What I'm going to do is press our easy press over top of our design for 3 seconds, lift it back off, put it back in its cradle, and then peel off our carrier sheet or transfer sheet while it's still hot or warm. So just like that, I'm going to go ahead and grab the transfer sheet. Alright, so now I'm just going to move my easy press mat up here to the top right hand corner and then line up our decal for this specific corner. Alright, so I'm going to press this for 3 seconds once again. Alright, so now I'm going to move down here to the bottom left hand corner. Alright, so now for another 3 seconds. Alright, so now for our last and final piece. And yet again for another 3 seconds. Alright, so now I'm just grabbing a Teflon sheet and I'm going to press over each section again, this time for a full 10 seconds. Each time that I'm pressing one of these corners, I do want to make sure that the easy press is overlapping that middle seam. Alright, so now that we have our canvas all finished, what I'm doing is now grabbing our wooden frame that we stained earlier, and I'm going to attach the canvas to the frame again. So I'm just placing my frame over top of my canvas in the general area of where I want it to be, and then I'm just going to grab the sides of it, flip it over, then grab my staple gun, and then just start stapling around the edges. Alright, so we have our canvas stapled to our frame. So now I'm flipping the frame over, grabbing my X-Acto knife again, and then I'm going to just trim off the excess canvas. And here is our finished canvas. Alright, so now I'm going to take some of this rope that I had left over from a previous project. Probably going to trim this down just a little bit, but what I'm going to do is staple it across the top of the canvas like this, because I ultimately want these canvases to be hanging on the wall by like a rope like this. Alright, so now for our next canvas. So what I'm doing right now is just using the canvas that we just made as a reference for the measurement of our SVG that we're going to put on our next project. So I am currently thinking about 10.5 inches wide or so should work. Yeah, I think 10.5 inches will work perfectly for our project. Okay, so here we are on AuntieTay.com. So what I'm going to do is come over here and click on SVGs and cut files. And I'm just going to scroll down until I see SVGs, and I'm going to click on this category right here. Now I want to come down here and click on home signs. And I'm going to keep on scrolling until I see the bathroom signs. And this is the file that I want right here, this get naked file. Alright, so here is our downloaded file right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that to unzip it. And now I'm gonna head over to Cricut Design Space to upload that image. Okay, so here we are on the canvas. So I'm gonna come over here to the left-hand side of the page and click on upload. And I wanna click on upload image. Now I wanna click on browse. And here's that file right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that. And then come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner, click on save. And here it is in our recently uploaded images. So now I want to insert that onto our canvas. And I'm going to do that by selecting it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on insert images. And now all I need to do is come up here towards the top of the canvas where it says size. And I want to change that width to 10.5 or 10.5 inches. And there we go. It's already all done for us. It's super easy, super simple. So now I'm going to come over here to the top right hand corner and select make it. Since we are using HTV or heat transfer vinyl, of course we obviously need to mirror it, and I can do that right over here on the left hand side of the page by clicking mirror. And now I'm going to come down to the second mat, select that, and mirror that as well. So now I'm going to come down here towards the bottom right hand corner and select continue. And now I'm going to get my cutting mats ready. Alright, so the word naked is what's going to be cut out first. And I want that word to be cut out in this pattern HTV from shopAuntieTay.com. This is her own brand of pattern HTV, and I am currently obsessed with it. So I'm going to apply this face down or pattern side down onto the cutting mat. Alright, so there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and load it into my Cricut Maker. But obviously you can use any Cricut cutting machine with this pattern HTV. And the same thing with this Caesar Easy Weed vinyl. Shiny side will go face down onto the cutting mat. Alright, so now that we have those weeded out, I'm going to go ahead and set my Easy Press 2 to 305 degrees for 10 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and place my Easy Press mat underneath of my canvas and go ahead and place my designs. Okay, so I have my design laid out onto my canvas the way that I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Easy Press and apply medium pressure for about 10 seconds. Okay, so now that we have our design applied to our canvas, which I am so excited about, what I want to do now is apply the canvas to our frame. Alright, so we have the canvas all stapled down to the frame, so now I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife and trim off the excess canvas again. Alright, so I'm just grabbing a little bit more rope and I'm going to staple it to the top of our frame. Alright, and here is our finished canvas. And lastly, with HTV, I am showing you all how to apply it to wood. And in this case, this little wooden dish right here. So for our design, I'm coming over here to AuntieTay.com. I'm selecting SVGs and cut files. And then I'm just going to scroll down a hair and select SVGs. Right over here to the left-hand side of the page, you'll see cute designs. I'm going to select that. And here we go right here. I'm wanting to put one of these mandalas onto our wooden dish. So I'm just going to select that for it to download to our computer. I can then come down here towards the bottom left-hand corner, select that, and it's going to go ahead and unzip that SVG file for us. And now I can come over here to Cricut Design Space and upload it to our canvas. So I'm going to come over here to the left-hand side of the page, click on Upload, and then select Upload Image. And then I want to select Browse, and I want to select that mandala set right there. At the bottom right-hand corner, we can click on Save, and here it is right over here in our recently uploaded images. So we can select that, then come down here towards the bottom right-hand corner and select Insert Images. Now, as you can see over here on the right-hand side of the page, under the Layers panel, all of these different designs are grouped together. So the first thing I want to do is ungroup them by selecting this option right here. And for our project today, I am wanting to select this one right here. So I can just drag that off to the side. And then as far as these others are concerned, I can simply click and drag over all of them and then just tap on the delete button. There we go. So now what we need to do is to resize this to fit our wooden dish. But first we need to figure out the dimensions of our wooden dish. So let's go ahead and measure that really quick. What we're really wanting to do here is to measure out the flat portion of this dish. And it looks like around 5.5 inches or so should be perfect for this. So I'm just coming back over here to Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to come up here towards the top of the canvas and change out these dimensions to 5.5 for 5.5 inches. And there we go. All we need to do is come up here towards the top right hand corner and select Make It. Now since this is HTV, we could select mirror, but in this situation, if we mirrored it, it would look exactly the same. So there's really no need in doing that, but it's always good to make that a habit. So I will go ahead and just click it for the heck of it, and then come down here towards the bottom right hand corner and select Continue. Now the HTV, or the heat transfer vinyl that I'm using for this project, is from Caesar. It's Caesar Easy Weed, and I did get this from shop.AuntieTay.com. And if you decide to purchase any from there as well, you can always use my code, which is crafty, and that'll save you 10% off. Now as far as the Cricut material settings, I've always found that everyday iron-on seems to work the best for Caesar Easy Weed, in my own personal opinion. So I'm going to select that, and now we're going to load it into our machine and get started cutting. Now while that's getting cut out, I'm going to go ahead and heat up my Easy Press Mini. And the way I'm going to do that is just by tapping this button twice to set the heat at that second level. Alright, so our design is finished cutting. So I am going to leave the design on the mat while I weed this out. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but for this intricate of a design, I definitely want to. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and place this down in our little wooden dish. And now I just wanna grab our little easy press and then start going around each section of this mandala. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it or if you learned something new, please be sure that you stamp that like button before you go, as well as drop a comment down in the comment section below. That really helps us out. And honestly, I just really look forward to going through and reading all the comments and responding to each of you all individually. If you're new around here to Auntie Tay's channel, be sure that you stamp that subscribe button before you go. And also, if you'd like to see more extreme Cricut makeovers, then be sure to head over to my channel and subscribe there as well. I would love to have ya. Just simply search for Mr. Crafty Pants Cricut Tutorials here on YouTube, or click that link down in the description box below. Thank you again for watching today's video. I am so grateful for each and every single one of you all. And until next time, stay crafty.